Before you watch this episode of our CitiCURRENT radio show, I want to invite you to join cityCURRENT's e-learning and online personal development platform called GrowthCurrent. I'm Jeremy Park, host of the CitiCURRENT radio show and CEO of cityCURRENT. GrowthCurrent is your exclusive ticket to attend virtual events with global thought leaders, national guest speakers, and experts who can help you grow personally and professionally. It gives you access to success secrets, lessons learned, learning modules, and so much more. Being online, you can join us from anywhere in the world. Subscriptions are only $8 a month, or you can do bulk subscriptions for your team. Check out growthcurrent.com to learn more and to join us in our efforts to power the good. And now, on to the show. Welcome back to the CitiCURRENT radio show. I'm your host, Jeremy Park. We're honored to be with our next guest. He is the CEO of CitiValet, and we get to talk all about concierge service, transportation, making your life easy. We are joined by Ian, and he goes by Byron because he's a friend, and we're going to call him Byron. But Fawknotson, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Doing good. So Byron, let's start. Give us a little bit of your story, because when you talk about being a concierge-driven approach in business, your background came really from banking. And so give us a little bit of your kind of storyline leading you to start CitiValet.
Well, I was in banking for about 12, 13 years in the Bahamas. And the last bit of banking that I was in was personal banking, and it was usually for offshore clients. And so it was that kind of concierge, personal services banking, you know. Someone come into the Bahamas to do some high-level banking, and you take care of their wife, you take care of their family while they're there, you make sure they have a good time, and they enjoy their experience there while you do business. And so it's kind of out of that background that I fell in love with that side of customer service and concierge support. And when I came here to the US, it was one of those things that I eventually worked my way back around to.
And I think, everything that you talked about in terms of taking care of others, the hospitality, that customer-driven approach, and the B.O.W.T.I.E service, which we'll talk about, that parlays into everything that you're doing now. And so describe CitiValet overall, and then we'll kind of dive into some of the nuances.
Well, CitiValet is a full spectrum corporate concierge support company. Okay, we do personal services or valet services. We do concierge services, which usually focus on our corporate clients. We remind people that valet is the personal assistant. Concierge is, the keeper of the candle. Historically, that's where it came from. So it's more of a corporate service. Someone visiting some ancient wealthy person's home. You had the keeper of the candle, the person that took care of all of them.
And I think now more than ever, you've got a lot of opportunities. Obviously, things have shifted. And so in a normal environment where you have a lot of corporate events, nonprofit events that are in person, to your point, the valet service, transportation, a lot of those are really powerful. So let's start there, and then we'll talk about how the concierge service, I think now, is a really powerful way that you're able to help and really be impactful. But talk about the valet service and some of those in a normal environment in terms of the ways that you're able to help with some of the bigger events and even transportation.
Well, in a normal environment, well, for one thing, you had more business, right? More people calling you. We were dealing both with personal events, whether they were parties or events at people's homes, or just a pickup of a client going to an event out to dinner or something of that sort. And of course, while you wanted to make sure that your vehicle and and the experience was safe, in a general sense, now with COVID and the environment that we're in, it's much more specific, and it's a bigger focus of the client today. So in normal times, again, if we're doing a valet event, we'll have staff there 30 minutes ahead of time, They're there 30 minutes after to make sure that they shut it all down. They take care of your guests using what we call bow-tie service, and they make sure that the event is a success. Their focus is to augment whatever it is that you have going on, so that you don't have to worry about where cars are parked or where the guests are being welcomed, and whether that part of the service or that part of the attention to detail is actually happening. That's on the personal side. On the corporate side, it's the same thing. You have guests coming in, and they're flying into a new airport. They want to be greeted by someone who's a friendly face, taken care of, taken to their hotel, taken to the meeting, and then collected out, go out to dinner, and then go back to the airport and head back out of town. And so we would take care of something of that sort. And that's for the guest that's in and out of town. We had clients that their guest was in fact their internal customer, their own staff. And so for us, it would be transporting their staff. I think of one of our clients that we had, Smile Direct, where we did offsite parking for them. And they had a staff of 4,000, and they had limited parking, and we provided shuttle buses to do the loop for them 18 hours a day, so that we could provide transportation support. And so whether the customer is internal or external, we provide that bow-tie service for them.
Dive in a little bit deeper on the bow-tie service, because obviously the bow tie is in the logo. It's on the back wall for those who are watching the video, but it really does separate you out in terms of the level of service that you provide. So dive in a little deeper on bow-tie service.
Well, Bow-Ti-E, of course, B.O.W.T.I.E. So for our employees, it's an acrostic, right? And the B in that is for be there. And so we try to be there always on time, every time. O is for offer help. And so whether it is a suggestion to a restaurant or it is taking a bag and putting it in the trunk, we offer help. Wait patiently, wait cheerfully. And so you don't feel as though you're being rushed by the driver. They are there to make sure that they're on your time. And so we say that the guest is never late because he's paying for the time, right? And the T is for thanks. We always want to thank our guests. It's because of them that we have the privilege of offering this service, and we have the privilege of being employed by it, you know. And so we want to always thank our guests. The I is for invite. We invite in and we invite out. We don't drop off or we don't pick up. We invite you in and make sure you're comfortable. We invite you out. We walk around, open the door, make sure that it's safe to come out, and we invite you out. The E is for ensure safety. And historically, ensuring safety was making sure that we look around before we pull off. We make sure the guest is safely inside. The seat belts are used, those kind of things. But now that's even more critical as we are in the COVID environment, making sure that the vehicle is clean, that it is sanitized, that the guest feels safe and secure in the vehicle. Often, we would use a vehicle that, for example, our stretch limousine has a divider. And so a guest could ride in that, separated away from the driver. And so he's in an enclosed space where it's only him in the back there sharing that air. And so it's more safe. Our executive transport and party bus are the same thing. They're shut off from the driver. And so it keeps both the passenger and the driver safe and have them feeling safe. We also make sure that we sanitize the vehicles. We clean them when we get in, clean them when we get out. But ensuring safety isn't related to COVID itself. It is a part of the culture of who we are, because we had the bow-tie service long before we had COVID. So ensuring safety is just a matter of our own personal culture. And it's good that this culture meets this kind of environment that we're in, because you know that it's a part of who we are. And so we're going to make sure that you're safe. We're getting a lot of bookings from persons that don't want to do the Uber or the Lyft right now. They want to do a car service because they want to ensure that the vehicles have enough time to be sanitized and before the turnover. Well, that was what we do, what we did in any event. It's a part of our bow-tie service. It's the E, ensure safety. And so customers are happy that, to know that. And we say to them, hey, making sure that the vehicle is clean for you is a part of who we are, and it's been a part of who we are from the time we had Bow-Tie on our logo. So that's long before we had the challenge of the COVID epidemic.
Talk about the concierge program, because I think this is a powerful way for you to make it easy for people and especially for companies. So dive in deep on the concierge service.
Our goal on the concierge side is to help to augment whatever it is that the organization needs done. So we sit with our potential clients and we try to find out what specifics it is that they need help with. And then we tailor a program to be able to offer them the kind of support that's going to allow them to accomplish either some specific end or some overarching service result that they want to see. And so for a client, I mentioned Smile Direct earlier, for them it was making sure that their shift change accommodated the parking situation that they had, as well as the volume of staff that was going to be moving in and out of their building at those critical times. And so we provided offsite parking for them. We provided shuttle vans and drivers, and we had them move at specific times to accommodate the shift change, so that Smile Direct could have accomplished that without having to look for a new office, for example. And so we helped them out with that. For Massa Construction, they were parking off-site during the airport construction. And so how do we get their staff on-site safely and then back off so that they don't have to worry about the parking, and this allows them to continue to do the work with that specific set of parking challenges that they had. With multiple small hotels, and what we would do is build a cluster, what we call a cluster, 2 or 3 hotels together, put a shuttle there with a driver, and we provide anywhere from 12-hour to 24-hour service that their customers came to love. We would go pick the customers up from the airport, get them back to the hotel, or do a service loop within 2 miles of the hotel, if that was what the hotel needed us to do. So we tailored whatever it is that needed done for the business as they need to be done, and we'll just sit with them, find out what that is, and we'll help them. For Metro General Hospital, for example, it is having a valet stand down there, helping guests in and out of the hospital, helping the other guests to find parking, either parking them off-site or parking them in the garage across the way. But again, our service there is a little different, and in each case it may be a little different depending on the need. For other companies, it might be a single event where they need just a valet service to come in and provide them valet services for 3 or 4 hours, and so we would do that. For there's a law firm here in the city that has lawyers or clients regularly flying in. It's providing them a program where we have a vehicle available so that we're able to get these guests from the airport to an appointment, to another meeting, and actually provide them transportation support that they would need for a few hours or for a few days. And so again, we sit with our guests, we sit with our clients, we find out what the need is, and then we augment our service to accomplish that need.
And the thing that we love is if someone says, hey, we need this, the answer is what on your end?
The answer is yes. If you said, can you, our answer is yes, as long as it's not illegal, eh? And we try to make sure that we get it done, you know? And so that's important to us.
Yeah, that can-do attitude, but going back to your point about delivering the bow-tie service, you make it a success. What's one thing that you've learned going through the pandemic that you think is going to make you stronger coming out? And I like the fact that you mentioned before is that you already had a focus on safety. And so now it just means a little different, but ultimately that was already foundationally there for your company. But what's something that you think has made you stronger going through this?
We had to focus on those core items of our value proposition, and our value proposition is captured in the bow tie. And so, whether it is being there, we just had the CMA events, and in a given day, we could have 60 or 70 movements with the CMA. With the CMA itinerary that we had, and so we had to be there, and we had to be there on time, and we had to be there every time. We had to make sure that waiting patiently wasn't something that we chafed at, but it was something that it was our pleasure to do, because that's who we are, but also that's what the clients needed at that point. They're also going through difficult times themselves. And so if we're there waiting patiently and offering the kind of service that we're supposed to offer, it makes their job a whole lot easier. And it makes us express who we are. You know, we are Bow-Tie Service. And so going back to those core fundamentals of who we are and understanding the value that they bring, it's been reinforced that's really critical for us. Before now, when we say ensure safety, the staff would take it, but someone hearing it at the start might think, they might roll their eye. What do you mean ensure safety? They don't roll their eyes anymore. They understand, hey, we need the safety. Okay, not just the brakes on the car, but the car inside must be clean, and we must wear a mask. We must do the things that ensure safety for our guests. And so the fundamentals are important.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's a critical lesson for us.
So wrap up and talk about website, phone number. Where do we go to reach out to CitiValet?
You can find us at cityvalet.com on the web. Our direct line is 615-216-7506. That's 615-216-7506. Our office manager is Kimberly, and she'll be happy to take a call from you to set up an appointment for you to, if we need to come out and visit you and look at some program that you need us to set up for you, some concierge support item. She'll be happy to schedule that. If it's just a ride that you need, again, we'll be happy to schedule that. You could actually go to our website and schedule a ride there. Should you like to do that? But we like folks calling us. We like to talk to you. We like to hear what it is you need. We like to know that you might want some water in the car, or you might need a specific newspaper or something of that sort. We want to take care of you. So call us and talk with us. And again, our phone number, 615-216-7506. Our website is city with two I's, CitiValet.com. And tell them that you're calling and expecting Bow-Tie Service. And that's what it is that we're about. We're about offering Bow-Tie Service, and we're happy to send out any of our packets to someone who would want to take a look over our services and see how it fits into whatever their portfolio of needs might be.
Well, Byron, thank you for all you and your team do. Greatly appreciate it. Thank you for coming on the show.
Well, thanks for having me.